Hey there, guys. Oh, the usual webcam issue, sorry. 1 second. Oh, darn. 1 second, sorry. What? Hey, guys, 1 second. I forgot to restart the webcam. So hopefully it should work. There we go. Okay, hello there. Sorry about that. As always, I need to restart the webcam. And yes, there should have been a sound in the intro, so I might have messed it up. These sound settings are, well, this whole OBS Studio is not my expertise, so to speak. But welcome to the stream. We managed it. My name is Oliver, for those of you who don't know. I am a student here at CADA on my 4th semester and the bootcamp instructor for now. Last week we did some modeling. You don't have to have joined, or how do you say it? It's okay if you didn't join, because I will provide you with the model today that we're gonna texture. But if you joined last time, you can bring your own. So this is one I made. I made a little change to it so the chain looks a bit nicer. So I will just send you guys a link. So it's from WeTransfer in the description or in the chat. So download that and open it up in Blender, and I'll give you guys a minute to do that and get up to speed. And then we'll be getting started. Oh. So if you're completely new, it's totally fine. If you want to share, it's usually nice to run the chat and say it's your first time or second time or something. I also know how gentle I should be, or yeah, the tempo I should do things in. Because some people have been here many times. I see Lena is joined again. And Philip and maybe other people as well. So yeah, so it goes like this. Second time, awesome. First time here, know nothing about anything. Well, no problem, it's totally fine. We're gonna start super slow. This is actually an easy thing we're gonna do. Well, easy, I think it's basic at least. You might still have a trouble catching it, of course, but we have a lot of time to do not too much. So as I go along, if you get confused or fall behind, write me in the chat as soon as you can, because then I can stop and then I can help you and go back to you, and then we'll move on from there, because I want everybody to follow along the whole way. Open Blender a couple times but haven't really done anything. No worries. Like, if you already opened it a couple times and you know a bit of the navigation stuff, you're already, you know, totally up to date. But as always, I will go through the navigation, and we're not really gonna move anything today, so it's gonna be pretty straight on, I think it's called. And Elena's too many time. Yeah, but if you get lost, please write me. I'm here to help. I'm not here to make something super fancy. And we're not gonna do that in an hour anyway. So, and if the audio is weird and double or something, let me know. Again, the sound settings are beyond my understanding. But heading into it, to navigate, let's start with that. So, if you hold middle mouse button on your mouse, you can rotate around like this. Hello from Ukraine. Hello here from Copenhagen. Nice of you to join us. Rotate, middle mouse. If you don't have a mouse, get a mouse. It's horrible to do any 3D without a mouse. Very horrible. If you don't have a mouse, you can also use this one up here. You can left click and rotate around. You can also see when you move the middle mouse. You can see where you are in space. It's usually nice to get an overview of where you are if you get lost. Next up, you hold shift and your middle mouse to pan with the view facing the same way. It does the same as left clicking on this hand. Move the view. If you want to zoom in and out, you can middle mouse scroll. You can hold control, middle mouse drag. Or you can left click this little, I remember what it was called last time. Lens. What's it called again? I forgot. Doesn't matter. You can left click this and zoom in out. So middle mouse, rotate, shift middle mouse, pan, control middle mouse, in and out. Super easy. If you forget it, let me know. But you can always see my screencast keys down here. So if I do this, you can see what button I'm pushing. All right, magnifying glass. Thank you. That's exactly what it's called. Such a simple term. I just because in Danish it's called a loop, as in loop, but not really. So it's it's not really translatable that way. Okay, well, so we are gonna texture, and when you want to do anything, you usually want a reference. So you know, I'm gonna search witch king maze stylized. Maybe I'll find something. Maybe I don't. If you just go for something simplistic, I'm gonna just start with this one. This is just, maybe that one is boring. This one maybe. So this has like a rusty metal, almost a bit golden, on the chain and all the metal, and then it has this like leather on the handle. So the first thing we're gonna do today is to make that. And I'm gonna put this over here. The first thing we want to do to get anything on it is to make a material. And in the start I got very confused by this in Blender, but there's several terms that describe different kinds of color application. Because sometimes it's an image that you apply, sometimes it's just base color, sometimes it's something else. But I'm gonna try to make it understandable. So over here on this little red button, can you see it from my face? I think you can. Click on that. That's called material and material properties. So if I want to add a material to, let's say, this maze head here, I named them for you guys, you can find it. You want to go up and click new. And a material is going to spawn. Right away you can name this if you want. It usually makes it easier to figure out what is once you get further into your texturing, because it can get very messy very fast. So I'm going to call this metal material. You can call it anyway, anything you want to call it, maze head material, but I'm probably going to use the same one for these as well. So what you can do is you can change the base color. Let's make it green. Now if nothing happens, it's probably because you are in solid mode, which is this guy up here. So make sure you shift over to the material preview. Do not click on the render view right now, because it makes it usually very laggy. And if you have a bad graphics card or a slow computer, it can make it crash. So we don't want that. Yeah. So we can change the color here. We're not going to use this for now, but just know that you can Gonna give it like this rusty golden color. Next up, you have metallic, which you can turn up or down. Now, notice that something is usually either metallic or it's not metallic. It's very rare, if ever, that something is like 50% metallic. So even though it might give the look you want, you rather want to tune other things. So just crank it up or crank it down. And lastly, we can change the roughness, and that is how light reflects on it, as far as I understand. That's the way I get it. So you can see it's very, very shiny, or it's not shiny at all. It's like, this is like a carpet or a t-shirt, and this is basically a mirror that's reflecting everything. So metal is, like, depending if it's a matte metal, it's more matte, it's more like this. Metal is usually like a bit low on roughness, something like this, a bit reflective, but not too much. The rest we're not gonna pay attention to right now. There's other things you can make it like see-through and stuff like that. But just know these things are what we're gonna be dealing with today. So when you wanna import a image texture, it's called. That's basically a 2D thing you put on top of your mesh on its 3D world that gives it like this nice detailed look. Then you need to download it, usually from the internet. So the first thing I want you guys to do here is you can search on Google, but I would go to polyhaven.com, polyhaven.com, open that up. Go to assets and textures, because we want a texture. You can also, download other things like models and, all kinds of funny, interesting things. But we want textures today. And this is a metal texture. So we want to go under metal. And we can find the one that looks most like what we want. And I feel like this rusty metal. Maybe. So white. Maybe this one actually, red and a gold, something like this. You can go with whatever you want though. There's no, this is your thing. But I'm gonna get the rusty metal 2. I'm just gonna go with the 2K and click download. And then we wait for that. And again, if anyone is lost or I'm too fast, let me know. Write me, I'll go back and help you with where you are. Okay, so let us open this up right here. So in my downloads, I have this zip file. First thing I want to do is, of course, extract it. I have this extract all button. I'm gonna extract it, and I get this folder. And we have the Blender file, but we'll have the texture file, which is what we want. And in this, you find 4 different textures, but files. And if you open it up, you can see that it has the color that we want. And there's the displacement, roughness, and the normal. But we're gonna get it doesn't have the normal. Oh, it's only displacement. Okay, we're gonna get into what those are in a minute, so don't despair yet. We are gonna go into the shading tab, because we want to shade our objects with the texture. And I'll give it a second to think. So this is what you'll be met with. There's a lot of windows here, and I usually don't use these. I don't know what I would use them for. So if you hover your mouse until you get this aim thing, and you left drag it like this, you get this join areas, and you just let go, and then you have more space, so you can see what you're doing. And what this is something that's node based, and don't be too scared of it. It's not that bad. Just wait till you get to the geometry nodes. That's something else. Geometry node editor. That's not what we're gonna do today. So if you click on your maze head, you can see we have the metal material selected here. Now I already have some other textures that I found through add-on, then you can see they get applied like this. But we want to use our metal material. And right now it has nothing. It's just the color we used. So what we want to do is we want to drag in the different textures here. So the diffuse, that diff it's called, it means diffuse, which is a term for color. I don't know how that is, but that is what it is. So if you see the diff, that's color. And very simple, you get this color texture in. You have this color channel here, and you can just left click, left drag to the other yellow one, and it's gonna apply the color. And it looks weird at first, but there's other reasons for this. Just want to show how easy it is to get this in. So what we did now is we basically added a node. You can click up here, and you can go to, where is it? Let me find it. Yeah, you can go on the texture and image texture, and you get this empty node. And if you then open it up and you find your rusty metal texture diff, it's exactly the same. There's no difference between this one and this one. It's just faster to drag and drop it instead of making the node and then finding it. So that's how I do it usually. Okay, now let's fix the problem with how this looks, because what is happening right now is it's being applied many times over with some weird seams. And that's because we haven't unwrapped our object. And what that means is, let me just UV unwrap center. If you ever buy a piece of chocolate that's wrapped in paper, it's wrapped like this. It looks like a nice Santa, or could be an Easter egg or whatever. And when you peel it off nicely and push it out, it's usually squared. And then when you fold it around, the 3D object, which is basically what this is, it then looks nice and looks like a Santa. But here it looks kind of weird, right? So that's exactly what we want to do with our object. We want to cut it open, so when you wrap it out, the texture is going to apply to it nicely. So to do that, we want to go to this tab, UV editing. And don't be too confused about all the tabs. We're not going to use too many today. And it says what they do. So UV editing, right off the bat, we can see our texture here. And it has this size. But all of this is our UVs, and you can see how they're scattered all over the place. And that's why it looks so weird. So another day with more time, I would show how to cut it up manually, because you can get a nicer unwrap that way. But today we're just gonna use the auto. It's usually decent and it's pretty fast. So unless it's like a really hero object that needs to look good, you can just do it manually. So what you do is, in your right viewport, you click on the face mode here. You can also click 3 on the keyboard. You want to click A for all, and you can see the whole thing is turning orange. And then you can either go up to the UV tab, or you can click U on the keyboard. I can do so you can see my keys. So I'm clicking U. And then you have these different options. Again, we don't want to do it ourselves today. We want to do it smartly. Or the easy cheating way. So we have this smart UV project here. So again, I click on my mesh. I click A for all, U for unwrap, and smart UV project. And you get a lot of options here. I don't usually touch this. The only thing I touch is I set the island mark into point, what is it? 0.01, maybe 0.2. Don't worry too much about it, but you can do it if you want. It doesn't matter if you don't. Click unwrap, and you see now the whole thing is cut up into pieces. It's not optimal, this way of unwrapping, but we're gonna work with that today. So let's go back to the shading tab and see what has happened. And now you see it's actually a lot different now. it's I would say it's arguably worse. So we might have to do it ourselves. But you can definitely see that it's being cut up in different places. So even though it's a pain, I think we have to do this one manually, actually. Then you guys can be taught UV unwrapping. So let's go back to this UV tab. I'm gonna turn off the modifier because it's making it hard to see. So I go to the wrench, the modifier tab, and you can click on this screen here to disable the visibility of the modifier. And what we need to do is we may need to mark on our model where the program should cut it open. Okay, so all of this is made all over the place. It's super messy, and we can't really use that because it looks like ass, right? So where is the best way to make a seam? Where is the best way to hide something like this? Because it's done here, and that's obviously very horrible because you can clearly see that it's being cut open and being it's changing the look of it. So I would say the backside is usually the best start, and in creaks and corners. So in here could be okay. You're not going to see it that much, but let me try the long edge here in the middle. And see how that goes. So I'm gonna hold Alt and click the middle. Oh, sorry. Make sure you are in edge select mode. So you click this one. Again, let me know if I'm going too fast, guys. I might be, but I don't know. So just text me if I am. But Alt and click this one, and let's see how far it goes. It goes all the way to the middle. That's what I want. And does it go to the middle here? Yes. Okay, it does. So what we're gonna do when we have this, again, Alt click, I want to right click, and I want to click Mark Seam. Okay. Now I also want to cut off the bottom here because that can look really, it can be hard for it to open up. So I'm gonna Alt click here. Maybe this one actually. Right click and mark seam. Let's see, is there anywhere else? And maybe here too. You know what? Let's try with this first. We can always add more later. So you see these are turning red after I mark them. So what we can do now is we can go back to the face select, click A, and click U. I'm a little lost. Okay, let me know where you're at or where I should go back to, because I'm going maybe a bit fast and this can be hard to wrap your head around. So let me know where you're at and I'll go from there. If you have your go back to selecting the margin, we'll skip that part actually and go to this instead, because this is the other one was, you know, not working that well. So click on the UV editing and it should look like this somewhat. Click on the edge up here, this guy. So you can select the edges instead of the faces. Okay. Then you should look at it from this side in the first place, but this is where we're going to be seeing it. So I move around, shift and middle mouse and middle mouse to rotate. And you can just take either one of these pointy things and go Alt, hold Alt and click left click. So the edge is gonna get yellow the entire way. Okay. So like this. Then once you've done that, you want to right click and mark seam. And when you left click out, you should have this red line going through. And that means we basically cut our geometry here in the UVs, which is what is going to happen here. You're going to see it in a minute. So you also want to, if you want, you can also do it down here. So again, I hold Alt to select the entire loop. I left click, and then I click right click and mark seam. Okay, and that's all. That's all we need to do for now. So you should have at least one red line, or you can try with two. Yeah. I hope that helped, and you're up to speed. Otherwise, write me again. But now I'm gonna show what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go back to the face. That's this one. You can also click free. If you click A, you select all. And then again, we wanna go to the UV tab. I don't have any red lines. Did you mark seams? Did you click on two? Click on an edge. On left click, right click and mark seam. Did you click on this guy? Because that's what makes it red. Of course, I don't want a seam like this. Yeah, I clicked it. That's a bit weird. You selected edges that were yellow before, and then you select it like this. Because that could be the reason. Then I don't have no idea actually why it's not working. If you selected this one and you still have the modifier on, that might be why you can't see it. So make sure you select like the pointy edge. If you selected the middle here, it's not gonna look, unless you have this turned off, of course. I have no idea why you can't see it if you did this. Well, maybe it still works. So give it a go and follow this next part and we'll see if it works. You got it. Great. Awesome. So, face mode. A for all. U for unwrap. And instead of the smart UV project we selected before, we can select one of these. I actually don't know what the difference is. I'm just going to go with the unwrap angle based. And you see here, now we have a lot of a very different unwrap. Let me see here. So we have this guy down here that we cut off. If you want, you can click S to scale and move it around. You're not going to see anything now. And up here we have all the rest. So I imagine now that we're going to have a problem here because it's not cut open here. But let's see how it looks first. So after we've done this, you go back to the shading tab. And this does look a lot nicer. Now you can see that the texture is actually spreading across it. And if you look closely here, you can clearly see where I cut it off. But how often do you look at it from this angle, right? Usually see it here and then you cannot see it because I did it on the bottom side instead of on the edge here. Let's look at this part here. It actually doesn't look too bad. What can happen is that the texture can stretch a lot, but I think it turned out pretty well. Let's see if we can see the seam. Yeah, you can clearly see it here. This is the seam, and this is where the texture is being cut open. But because it's the back side and it's on a pointy angle, you're not really seeing it that much unless you go close. So that's how we do UVs. It's a bit of a long one because we have to do that. So if we have this guy, if you click on the chain and you go to UV and you click A for all and U for unwrap, I would just use the smart UV project because that's gonna take forever otherwise. So just do this smart UV project and just click unwrap. You don't have to worry too much about the margins. Just unwrap, go back to shading. And in shading, when you click on this, you can select this drop-down menu and just select the one we already made. And you see it's gonna actually look quite nice. Because this is a simple object, it can easily cut it open. So what Blender is trying to do is trying to cut and open in a smart way. And if the object is too detailed or has too many weird edges and stuff, it doesn't really, it can't really figure it out. But something simple like this, it can easily do it on. So I'm gonna do the same on this handle here. UV editing. Click A for all, U for unwrap, and Smart UV project. Unwrap. And lastly, I will also select the end of the handle, handle metal, I called it. UV editing, A for all, U for unwrap, and Smart UV project. So I just did the same thing for all of them. I go back to shading and I'm gonna click on my object, click on the little globe thing here, drop down, and add the metal rusty. So now everything has a rusty metal except for this guy, which we want to be leather. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a minute to finish that up or ask questions, and we're gonna move on to the other textures. Hey Katrin, welcome. Nice of you to join us. Okay, I'm gonna be slowly moving on. Hope everybody's with me. So the handle here, just for now, we can give that a different material. So I'm gonna go down back to my materials tab. Or you can also click up here. That's actually the exact same. And I'm gonna rename this to handle leather material. And I'm just gonna start by giving it a black or dark brown with a high roughness because it's leather. Maybe not, maybe like this, medium low roughness. So what you would do here is exactly the same. You would go to Copenhagen, assets and textures, and see if there's something called fabric. This is something, this denim. Is there leather? And I think, is that black leather? I think I'm gonna go with the brown leather for now. This one looks cool, so I'm gonna download that. Wait for it. You can find other textures on other websites too. This is just a website to do it from. So again, I'm gonna click my brown leather. I'm gonna extract all. Open the texture tab. Open Blender. And drag this brown leather albedo. Albedo is also color for some. I don't know the difference between albedo, diffuse, and color, but it's all the same. So color into here. And we have this very nice leather going on. It's might be too pretty, but we can fix it later. So right now we have applied a base color to all our things. And if this is looking weird, it's because we haven't unwrapped it. So I can of course go and do that. UV editing, A for all, U for unwrap, and Smart UV project. Boom. And yeah, everything is added with color, but we're missing realism. It looks super flat. Like the reflectiveness is the same all over. There's no change in detail or where it's more. It should be more rough, where it's blunted, and less rough where it's not, or is the other way around. It should have variety at least. And also these scratches should maybe have like look like they come out of it or into it. But right now everything is just flat. So what do we do? Well, we need to apply a new material. So let's open up our texture with the rusty metal. And let's drag in the rusty metal rough and the rusty metal NOR GL. Okay, those two. So, the roughness, I can never remember which one this is. I think it's the color I usually use. It looks like it should be the alpha, but let's just use the color for now. And right off the bat, we need to change this color space because the roughness map, as you can see on it, is a grayscale. That means it's black and white. It doesn't have color in it. So you click on the color space and you change that to non-color. And you see how much that changed the color on it. Now this is looking super crazy. And this is looking a lot better. Now let me just play around with it. Let's try the alpha. Yeah, so this, right now this just looks like has like max roughness. It looks like this. If I add the color channel, it has a variety of where it's more shiny than others. So apply the color channel to the roughness and change the color space to non-color. So it should look like this, right? Lastly, we need the details. We need it to look like something is coming in and out of the material, so it's not just flat all over. And that is where the NOR GL comes in. And what a NOR is, it means normal map, short for normal map, and it's this blue guy. So if you ever see a blue map, it's the normals. Why it's blue, I don't know, but that's the one that simulates details. And the funny thing about a normal map is that you cannot plug it straight into the normal, because this is blue, and these are red and gray. I don't know why they haven't made it a thing yet, that it just automatically adds it. Like it should just work. But what we need to do is we need to make our own translation node. So you can go to add, or you can click Shift A as a shortcut and search normal map. And you get this guy. And you can see you have a yellow plugin and a blue plug out. And now we're getting something. Now you can see the details popping out, right? If you increase the strength, it goes a bit crazy. Maybe you think this looks better. You can also decrease and we get what we had before. You can see how much. So the thing with this is it has no actual details. If you look at the silhouette, it's still just straight. So it just makes it look like you have it. How to get the normal map? Yeah, you go to add or shift A, and then you search normal map. You can also do that up here. Normal map, yes. And then you just plug in the color and the normal. Oh, now it has, into the normal, of course. And maybe I'll go with 1.2. And we get these nice details you see here. Again, we didn't cut this manually, so you can see this kind of looked like butt. So you'd have to again go on the back of it, make a seam, and cut it open yourself if you want it to look better. I'm not going to do that right now, though. So we're going to do everything again. So if you're a bit behind or you get a bit lost, you have the chance to do it all over. Or try again on the other one. So click on the leather handle here. Let's open up our textures from the leather. And let's again take the roughness in and the NOR GL. And I'm going to repeat the same steps. So on the roughness, I change the color space to non-color because it's a gray and well, it's a black and white map. That's gray then. And then you want to put the color into the roughness. Okay. Let's see what the alpha looks like. That's boring. So color. Then I want to make a normal map. So I go Shift A, normal map. I put in the color to the color and the normal to the normal. And you see we also get a nice detailed texture here, which you can also increase if you feel like it. I think maybe like 2 could be cool. Okay. And you can actually see the seams a lot less now, which is nice. Now let me see. I'm pretty sure I remember that the normal should also be non-color, but I don't really see a difference. Maybe this linear is the same. Yeah, I don't see a difference. That's fine. But the color space should not be RGB, that's for sure, because that looks weird. Okay, so we are almost there. That's the base of adding a texture. The last thing I want to show you guys is if you want to change the color of something. Let's say we don't want this to be brown, we want it to be more black. But we still want the same kind of tone we get from the color map. Because you could take this off and just have it black. Maybe this looks good. Because you still get the details from the roughness and the normal map. But let's say we wanted to change it. You can add a this one, hue, saturation, and value. And you can put that in between. And then you can take the value a bit down. So it still has this brownish base, but it's a lot more dark. You can also make it a bit more gray with the lower saturation. Or if you want to actually change the color, you can change the hue up here and make it, you know, something entirely different. But I kind of like the brown here. Desaturate a bit and lower the value. My entire model turned black. Because of this node? Or because something else? Do you still have your metal material on? Because maybe you also change it. But if you add this node, hue, saturation, and value, and you lower the value to 0, everything turns black. So if you want it back, you can take it to 1. I can show it here as well. So hue, shift A, hue. Gonna put it in here. Value 0, and it should look like this. So you just check the value to, I don't know, 0.9. So for normal, isn't it? Click the wrong option. Well, there you go. Then you just delete it and find the other one, and it should be fine. If it's not working, let me know, but it's probably just the wrong node. Delete the node. Metal is dull on my bottom section. If the metal is more dull, is that because your roughness map, you use the alpha instead of the color? Because if you use the alpha, it looks like this. If you use the color, it looks like this. Delete the node. Sage, just try to make it again. Like, make a new material and apply it all. What did use color? So if you change the metallic here, it doesn't change at all, or just looks a bit more dull than mine. Because there can be difference in our viewport settings as well. If you know what I mean. Or maybe it gets even duller. Okay, but then it might just be a visual bug that yours look different. So as long as you can see a difference, just keep this up. Make sure you have the same settings as me. Maybe I'll actually take the value. So I have this hue saturation like this. This is an sRGB. This roughness is from color to roughness, non-color. My normal is plugged in here, strength 1.2, and in here. And so if it's the same thing, we'll get the same later. It might just look different in yours. Just missing the output. Good. Good you found it. Okay. I feel like I'm kind of satisfied for now with this. Great. So let's see how this looks when we actually because right now it's just a preview. This is not how it looks in real space. Because when we go to the renderer, it's gonna, right now it's just gonna turn dark. But before you click this, save, so Control S, save your thing. Click on the rendered view and it should just get super dark. So what we need to do now is we need to add a light because it's, you know, it's not showing up at all. So you want to go Shift A, light, and I want to use the area light. Always use these. So right now we have to do a bit of moving and manipulating. So I'm going to go a bit fast. I'm going to say what I'm doing. If you need me to say it again, let me know. But I keep saying it whenever I move things. So you should be able to catch up at one point. But I'm going to click G for grab. I can turn my screencast keys back on. So again, G for grab. And X to move it along the X. I'm going to click G again. And Z. And G and Y to move it over here. Okay. Next, I'm going to click R to rotate and Y to log it here. And you see I'm getting this, and R and Z to rotate here. And then I'm going to S for scale a bit. So we're going G to move, and then you click X, Y, or Z to move it along the axis you want it to. And then you can use this as the guideline to where you want it to point. So right now the exposure is way too low, so I'm going to set it to 1. I'm going to set it to 5, I mean. And now we can see what's going on. And I have something to work with. And I think I changed my mind actually. I will go G and Y and R and Z and move it this way instead. And scale of it. Something like this. Next up, before we add more lights, I want to change my render settings because it's trying to do 1,000 samples, which is a bit too much. And you'll see what that is in a minute. So right off the bat, I'm going to save again, Control S. I'm going to click up here on the render options. And right now mine is set to cycles, which I want. Yours might be Eevee as default. So go to cycles. And if you have a GPU, I would use that. It will take a bit to start, but it's a lot faster to render. If you get an error, you need to go up to Edit, Preferences, System, and under your optics, you have to enable your GPU. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So make sure these are turned on. And it's going to be a lot faster. Next up, my viewport, my sampling viewport, I want that to be 25, maybe 50. And I want a denoiser on. And I want the denoiser to be the optics, because that's usually the better one. Next up, my actual render, I don't want that to be 4,000, I want to go with 500. And the denoiser I want to be the same. So I'm just going to show my things again. You can go back to this part if you need to revisit. So cycles, GPU compute. My viewport, I want it to not have this threshold. 50 samples and the optics denoiser turned on. My renderer, no noise threshold. 500 samples and the optics denoiser. And that's all I want to do for now. So with these settings, maybe I'll turn off the denoiser in the viewport actually, because it's a lot faster without it. So I'm gonna make 2 more lights. Right now I have I call this the key light. Key light. That's gonna be my main light source. G and Z to move it up. I can increase the power if I want. This should be my oh, I was about to say something bad, but the main light that's gonna give all the shine. Stream froze for me, so I didn't see anything. Well, if it's the render options, they're out here. You can just copy what I have, change so it matches, and you should be fine. If you need to If you need any help, let me know. But it's basically just this. And we can go over it again if you need to. But I'm just going to add a light the same way as I did before while you do that. So Shift A, area light. I want this to be my fill light, it's called, which basically is going to fill out this area here that's very, very dark. Because I want shadows, it makes it more interesting, but I don't want it to be so dull. So I'm going to click G and Y, G and Z, and R and X to rotate. Can we go over the positioning of the lighting again real quick? Yes. So, well, just you can put it wherever you want. This is just a way to do it. But use G to move, and G and X to move it one way, Y to move it another, and Z to move it a third. So basically just go, I can make a new one. So let's say I wanna put one over here. So click G and Z, move it up a bit, G and Y to move it over here, and R to rotate, and X to lock it here. And don't worry if you don't find the right angle the first time. You can always just keep playing around with it. You know, G and X, R and Z. Don't mind that you're a bit slower than me. Doesn't matter. As long as you slowly get it somewhere. G and X. So I want one that's pointing, you know, this general direction. You can go from here, 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 here. Just as long as the light looks this way. If there's then a very dark space, like there was here before this, then you want to add a light there. And this one I actually want to be a bit bigger. Got it now. Great. Good to see. And I want the exposure to be 0.4 maybe. Yeah. So that's, is it too much? Yeah, that's too much. Maybe 0.1. Power 6. Yeah. So I still want it to be dark, but I don't want it to be lit either. So this is great. The last light I want to make is what's called a rim light. And what, as the name suggests, I wanted to emphasize the silhouette here. So you can really see where this guy is, you know, let's say the background is black. It's going to be easier to see the silhouette. And I can show how we can do that. So let me just make a plane. Shift A, G and X, G and Y, S for scale. And let me, scale it down. S and X, G and X. I go to, again, you don't have to do this. This is just an extra thing. But you can follow along if you want to and can. So go to edit mode, tab, 2 for edge select, E to extrude, set to lock. Click on this guy, Control B, scroll wheel with the mouse. Again, you don't have to do this, it's just to show. And I'm gonna make this black. Okay, and probably gonna smooth it. Okay, so if you look here, it gets very hard to see the edge on my maze. So the rim light is gonna accentuate this. So I'm gonna go Shift A, light, area. Gonna go G and Y, G and Z, and G and X. Gonna R and Y, G and Z. I'm gonna scale with S. And what you can usually do, S and Y, with a rim light is you can also change the temperature a bit. So maybe you wanna change the temperature really high so it gets a colder light. Oh, hello there, welcome. And the exposure to maybe 2. And now you see, I'm getting this rim. I'm good, thank you. How are you? S and Y. I'm gonna do like this. So this might be a bit hard for you to tweak since you're still beginners. So just do your best. But essentially, I just want to emphasize this here. And the best way to see where it should be if you look through your camera. And luckily, I already set up the camera for you guys. So you just have to click on the camera here. Well, it didn't set up perfectly, but somewhat. So if you want to go closer, you can click on the lock here and you can scroll wheel a bit. And you can also rotate a bit. Like this. And remember to click the lock to go out of it. G and can move this a bit. Something like this. Okay, so right now I don't like the light I have, my rim light. It's not giving me enough, so I can try and increase a bit. That's a lot better. Maybe I can also G and Z, R and Y. That's a lot more. I like that for sure. Something like this. Makes it more interesting. And then I want this one to, let me see. Settings. Report display. I know there's a way to tell my light not to hit something. Never mind. Okay, it's fine. I can always just do this. Okay. Maybe I'll also change the color on this guy just a bit. Maybe make it like a dark purple. Great. So one more thing I need to do is this part here is a bit too underlit. Like it's good that there isn't a lot of light on it, but I would just want a bit. So I'm gonna go Shift A, light, area, G and Y, G and X, R and Y, and we'll scale it, S and S and Y, just a bit. Give it like 0.2, 0.4. And this is better. It's too much. Just a bit. And maybe I'll make my key light a bit more crazy. Maybe I'll add some temperature. Make it a bit red. Something like this, like 4K. Whoa, 4,000. Crank up the exposure to like 6. And if you want, maybe this guy should be like 0.3. Something like this, maybe. It's at least better. You can keep tweaking light a lot. A lot. You know, you can also play, what if it has light from below? Maybe that's cool, but this looks kind of, you know, weird. So I think this is better. Something like this. So when you're done with your light, you can keep playing with it as much as you want. Let's say I'm happy. I could also like change my camera. No, I don't want that. I like it. You can go to your output settings. And in the output here, you can change it. I'm going to change it to my render files. You can do whatever you want. Go accept. Maybe I'll also call it morning star render. Accept. Maybe that's gonna actually be the wrong thing. Yeah, once I'm done with this, I just wanna go render and render image. And we'll see what happens. And I get this guy. Boom. I think the lighting could be more interesting here. Maybe something colder. I'll do that first. So my light here, I might want to change the temperature to like 12,000. More. Increase exposure a bit. Maybe make it go a bit more. Oh. Let me see here. This is nicer for sure. I think. Maybe my key light is bad. What is this? Maybe this is actually a bit nicer. Let me try and save this render. So I go to image, save as, go to my renders, and let me say maze texture low light, save. And let me just render a new one. Image. And this is a new one. I'm gonna wait for the samples to be done. And then I'm gonna save that one. Not getting here, but let's not learn. Yeah, great. Well, I hope you learned something when you did. For sure. Okay, guys, we're about to be done. So if you have any kind of render... Oh, I need to fix this background. Damn it. There we go. I'm gonna go back. Render image. So it doesn't look so bad. There you go. What we usually do when we're done with this stream and you get yourself something is we will go into a Discord channel, which is in the link below on the YouTube description. We go to the 3D Bootcamp. You can see here last time a lot of people did mazes. It's really cool. A lot of very nice ones. But it doesn't have to be good. You can just put up whatever you got, and you can ask for feedback, or I'll give it to you anyway. And you know, it's kind of fun and nice to share. So I encourage you to do that. And I'm also going to upload both of my renders, both the less light one and the other one. You can decide which one you prefer. But if I look at my reference, I kind of feel like it needs a bit more detail, but it looks, whoa, it looks a bit like it. I think mine is a bit too yellow, but that's a texture I found, right? So I will have to change the texture itself. And of course, this one is cooler than mine as well. I could increase the normal a bit as well. And make this more, I think this is too brown. I would make that more black, the next one. But we can do it again while I wait for you guys. Let's call it highlight. I'm gonna go in here. Gonna go into my shading tab. Gonna make this very low value. Gonna increase 2.5, and this one I will go to 2.5, and I will lower the saturation a lot, like this. Let me see my reference. Where is it? It's gone. Did I close it? I closed it. No. Oh well. Bollocks. Let me do one more render. And then I'll have 3 different renders and we'll see which one we like the most. Yeah. But go to Discord and throw up your shit so I can see what you guys made. Like how you textured it, or if there's anything went wrong, or how the light could be better for next time, how you could position it differently. All those kind of things. It's usually super nice. And then we're gonna finish off with that, and that's gonna be it for today. And if you have anything you want to ask, or questions, or something you need help with, or whatever it could be, let me know, and I'll help you guys. I can also show you how much difference the light does for the look, and the camera can also do a lot. Camera angle. I just want to do 3 different of the same one. And also just the texture will be changed on this one, right? Yeah, so if you have anything, it's now or never, because I'm gonna probably, depending on how much we have to show each other, I'm gonna leave in like 5-10 minutes. Call it a day. Next week is gonna be super fun though. Because it's gonna be the sculpting as always. Still stuck on the lighting screen, completely froze again. I wanna watch the stream back and try again. Well, cool, do it. I'm still gonna check it. If you post it on the 3D Bootcamp here, I'm still gonna look at it when like during the week, so I can still give you some feedback if you want it. Again, lighting doesn't have to be super good. Just add one light and just so you can see it, and try and do a render, just to get something out. That's usually the most important, that you just get a product, right? And then we can always change it from there. But it's totally fine. Maybe it's the internet that is sucky. Fell behind, so rushed my a bit. Okay. Okay, well, it looks very cool. I like the textures here. And it looks like you gave it like a green tone on the light. I was just kind of in the vibe of the, what's it called? The motor, the big gate. Because they have these green things. It gives that very ominous look. So I think this light looks really cool. That has a green tone. You get the rim. Was that just a highlight? It's just a highlight, maybe. Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. You need more of a rim light here, I would say, to accentuate the back. But the key light here really works. And you also have a. Or maybe this key light is key light, and this is the fill light. Maybe that's it, actually. It looks like you have a lot of light here, and then this is more dim. So I think that kind of works. It's just good that you didn't over light it, which is usually a problem, that people just put lights everywhere. So it's just crazy good lit. So I think this is very nice. Just a rim light, and I think you're good to go. Great job, looks very nice. Thank you. Render's all messed up, so I'm gonna go back over it. Yeah, no worries. Do that. You can, again, it doesn't take that long once you get the settings right, and you have the camera already you can use. So give it a go, and I'm gonna check it later. Let's see mine. See the difference. So this is with a lot lower saturation. It looks, I feel like it looks more realistic. Bit more boring as well. And oh, you can see this is why I didn't subdivide enough the background, so it looks segmented. It's bad. But I think this looks a lot less interesting than this, because I still get the shadows down here, but it's much more light. this doesn't look good, right? So I like these two more, and this is just changed to the texturing. So this is the light that's different here, and this is the texture. So you can keep playing around with it, or add a new texture, change the settings. So there's a lot to do with this stage, where you can really make your stuff pop. The only thing I feel like maybe it's a bit too lit. Like, it's definitely a spotlight shot, that's for sure. There's not a lot of interest going on. So maybe I should have had like a green light down here, as Ivan had. That could be kind of cool, just to change it up a bit. Just to, like this could have been cool on mine. Different backdrop maybe. All right, let's see, Elena. All right. So the first thing I notice is a UV problem, which we have here, which is super sad. And I think that's because you did the smart UV. So if I were you, I would very quickly go and do the seam on the backside, because you just need one seam and it's gonna look pretty good on this thing. And then just have the same texture and it's gonna look a lot better. So I really encourage you to do it actually while you're at it, just to practice it well. So you mark the entire edge loop on the backside, right click and mark seam, and then you use the angle based unwrap, and then this is gonna look so much better, I promise you. Again, you did some nice lighting though. Like, I like the, again, red ominous light here. It's very cool. Gives it a nice tone, and you have the key light, which brings out this, and you don't want a lot of interest here. So I think it's good that the light kind of falls off instead of mine, where it's just, you know, spotlight. So I think your light is so much better than mine, for sure. It's just your UVs that are fucked. Right here, and here, and everywhere actually. So I think if you fix those and re-upload, it's gonna look super crisp. My wrapping is not perfect. Okay, let me see. Now see, there's some issues here. Maybe it's the same here. So I would do the same thing. I would go on the backside and I would cut it open and do it. Did the UV? I think it's because you use the smart UV and wrap again even after you make the seam, instead of use the angle based one, because then you just, even though with the seam, you just, you know, make that do it for you. So you need to go into the wait. You need to go. You make the seam, right? Wait, what the fuck? What's happening? You mark the seam, and then you go UV and this one, unwrap angle based. Yeah, it looks like you still click this even with the seam, and then it's not gonna work. My render is messed up. My maze is purple. Could be texture issues that is missing, and it cannot find it. So maybe it fell off, or it's some light issue. Oh, but I think the texture is kind of nice. It's very rusty and still has a metal look. You might have gone too overboard with the normal map. Looks like you set it quite high. But maybe that it could work better with the better UVs. But definitely good job. Like, and the light is super cool as well. A bit too much maybe. You want a bit more interest. The same thing I was missing. So have some dark spots maybe at the back side here, or this side. Angle base. But maybe it's just the wrapping. Then you need to do more, or the cutting. It could be. But hey, good job, guys. It's okay. It's the first time. This is super. It's hard to get in the start, but once you make it, and you can see Elena, she's done multiple times with the light, and it just looks super crisp, really fast. Even with the bad UVs, it still looks nice, right? Unless you go close. but the overall presentation is nice. So spend some time, just like 10 more minutes, and look at the video again, and see if you can get it to look like what you want, right? Because the next time it's going to be so much easier. Whatever you do from here, you can always give it a nice look and present it nicely. And that's kind of what you want to do with all the things you make. So yeah, thank you for joining today's bootcamp. It was texturing. Next time we're going to be doing sculpting. And that's usually super fun. Everybody can follow along. Varied results as always, but I usually pick something that is doable for most people. So yeah, excited for that. Thank you for today. And see you guys next week. I'm gonna cut off the stream. Bye bye.